Cool, my name's Haroon, and this piece is called People in Search of a Life, and it's a piece dealing with identity and being the other here in the UK. As I walk around trying to process how this society punishes me for my inability to thrive in its Hunger Games, I hear mournful tones. And what should be promising narratives of our youth, narratives that should be filling my heart, those narratives are yet again cut short. This country doesn't even treat its children like it's its own children. And 20 years on, despite the optimistic tones of things can only get better ringing in my ears, promising a more inclusive society, promising a more inclusive identity of what it means to belong to this island, instead, I hear permutations of Lord Tebbett's speech. Not the cricket one, the other one, get on your bike. I'm sure some of you remember that one. So I engage in a conversation with another man, and he basically has this to say to me. Haroon, these young kids, they don't know hardship. Back in my time, there was true austerity, and we weren't running around just stabbing each other like a bunch of animals. I'm dumbfounded, on so many levels. No way I can't respond. So I respond. Really? Wow. These two examples where you compare yourself to today's youth, they're not analogous. They're not even comparable. I mean, you don't have melanin stamped over every millimetre of your body, a signpost for society and its institutions to treat you as the other. You never grew up with a father saying, Haroon, they will never accept you here. The talk over here is of repatriation. Don't believe me? There's a precedent for this. Look at Uganda. So naturally the man responds, but come on, Haroon, you're not like them. Not like the rest of them. I mean, you face some of those hurdles and obstacles, and you've never been violent. You don't riot. You don't just trash your own neighbourhood. You don't burn shit down. And I interrupt him. But I want to. I want to burn things down, and I want to be violent, but I don't do these things out of fear of the disproportionate repercussions for people like myself. Those who are asked, but really, where are you really from? And so I tell him, I shouldn't be governed by fear, but I am. The memory of the London riots still weighs heavy on my mind, as does the memory of the Bradford riots, living examples of what happens when we, the other, forget our place. I want my actions to be driven by love, and I want my actions to be driven by a sense of belonging, and I want my actions to be driven by a sense of ownership of my surroundings. But how can I feel any sense of ownership when every time I get really close, it's just snatched away? Snatched away by messages that make it their business to remind me that I'm a guest here. I mean, we're all guests here on this planet, but you know the type of guest that they're actually insinuating, the kind that needs to be sent back home. Life needs to feel like it's worth living. And I too often feel like it's not worth living, but the difference is that while I can't bring myself to take the life of another, I often wake up every morning and think nothing of taking my own life. And in many ways it's the same thing. In the book that contains the wisdom, its author states, he or she that takes one's life, it's as though he or she took the life of all humanity. And the clue lies in what I just said. The operative word, humanity. This country dehumanises its youth. This country dehumanises its children. This country doesn't even treat its children like it's its own children. So these headlines that have everyone on my timeline talking, I fear they won't stop. Not until we include our children in our conversations. I mean, if I had my own way, our children would be leading every conversation, while I sit over there diligently, just taking notes like a courtroom stenographer. Thanks. You can follow me on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. It's at Haroon Harry, so Haroon, and then Harry. Cool.